So welcome. This is going to be a quick breakdown on the question, what is behavior? Just to understand what is behavior and then to be able to act accordingly to this knowledge or gather more information accordingly on what you personally might need. So what is behavior? Behavior is basically any activity that can be observed or measured. Me talking to you is behavior. Me moving my hands while talking is behavior. And then we can go deeper into this topic. For example, we can look at a biological perspective where we can say that behavior is influenced by physiology and genetic factors, such as the basic structure of your brain, your neurotransmitters, your synapses, and so on. Basically, also your hormones and genetics that influence how you act, how you generally behave, of course. And just a quick example, your serotonin levels can influence your mood, and this can be seen in depression or the OCD. There are, of course, more perspectives in this whole behavior thing. There we have the psychodynamic perspective, majorly influenced and developed by Sigmund Freud and later Carl Jung, for example. And then we have behavior which is determined by your early childhood, by childhood trauma and your unconscious drives. Okay? Basically, that your unsolved conflicts, your trauma from childhood influences how you behave later on in life. Then we have the behavioral perspective, majorly influenced by conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. And there we see how observable behaviors are influenced by interactions with the environment. Okay, mainly conditioning is said we have operant conditioning with rewards and punishments. When I give you a certain reward, you're going to be more likely inclined to do this behavior again, and if I punish you for this, then you don't want to do it again. Okay, we have classical conditioning. You have a certain trigger and a certain action attached to this. Then we can go into the cognitive perspective of this all. There we see the behaviors based on your mental processes, like cognition, like perception, thinking, and problem solving, basically the cognitive functions. And these guide your actions. So I have here the example of self-efficacy. When you believe in yourself to succeed, you're more likely to actually succeed in whatever you do. The more you believe, for example, that you get healthy, it's quite interesting that you are or that you tend to get faster healthy or you get healthy. This is like the power of your will, the power of hope. Then also cognitive biases, where we tend to make actions based on biases that we have, or especially also errors. Then we also have the humanistic perspective, where we have certain values that we tend to behave on, like by Maslow's pyramid, for example, where we have food as a need and we behave in order to obtain food, but at the highest peak is self-actualization and that we are able to grow personally and that we are inherently good and that's why we behave and that's how we behave. I hope this makes some things clear that you can now search for more information as you want, and I'm also going to make more videos on the whole topic, but just to get the quickest and most basic breakdown of behavior and some perspectives on behavior.